Thank you for joining us and welcome to Lunchtime Politics right here on Channels Television. I am Bukola Koka, live in Lagos, our headquarters. The headlines. Senate gives accelerated hearing to 1.78 trillion naira 2025 appropriation bill for the Federal Capital Territory, the highest in the history of the Federal Capital. Southeast Zonal Executive Committee of the PDP threatens to review its relationship with the party if it fails to adopt its recommendation of Ude Okoye as National Secretary. Welcome. The Senate has passed the 1.78 trillion naira statutory appropriation bill for the Federal Capital Territory for the 2025 financial year through second reading. This followed a correspondence submitted by President Bola Tinubu to the Red Chamber on Wednesday, proposing a 1.783 trillion naira statutory appropriation bill for the FCT for expeditious consideration and approval. In his communication to the upper chamber, President Tinubu urges the Senate to give the bill expedited consideration, noting that its passage is critical to ensuring effective and service-oriented administration for residents of the FCT. And in the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima says budgeting under President Bola Tinubu's administration is not for survival, but for economic transformation that guarantees sustainable growth. He stated this at the 15th Mechanical Engineering Distinguished Lecture in Abuja, where speakers call on the federal government to prioritize Nigerian engineers in the award of contracts for road and other infrastructure projects. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports. And we'll have that subsequently. To politics now. The Southeast Zonal Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has threatened to review its relationship with the party if its recommendation of Sunday Ude Okoye as National Secretary is not honored. The body made this known at the end of the Southeast Zonal meeting, which held at the Government House in Enugu. While reading out the communique, the zonal chairman says the Southeast has consistently served as a stronghold of the PDP with unalloyed loyalty to the party since inception, and even as members in other regions continue to defect.
Southeast Zonal Executive Committee exhaustively deliberated on the directive of the NWC and came to the conclusion that it offered a sure pathway to peace, unity, stability, and progress of our party. Consequently, the ZEC unanimously recommend Honorable Sunday Ude Okoye as a candidate to complete the term of office of the National Secretary. 2. We also urge the NWC to uphold its decision at its 600 meeting on April 29, 2025 by ensuring that the Deputy National Secretary of PDP functions as the National Secretary pending the certification of the nominee for the office of the National Secretary by the National Executive Committee of our great party, in line with the recommendations of the PDP Governors Forum and adopted by the NWC. It is on the strength of the above, therefore, that we hope that this time around, the position of the Southeast PDP regarding the office of the National Secretary is accorded the honor and immediately it deserves. This will bring to a closure the needless lingering disputes over this matter. However, in the event that our position is not promptly implemented by the party, the Southeast PDP as a family will be compelled to reconsider our relationship with PDP going forward.
And more politics now. In Kebbi State, the All Progressives Congress in Koko local government area has plunged into a fresh crisis following the suspension of two serving commissioners, Garba Dusimari, Commissioner for Local Government, and Halima Bande, Commissioner for Basic Education. The suspensions were announced by local party executives amid growing tension and internal disputes that have threatened the unity of the party in the area. The affected commissioners, alongside the local government party chairman, were accused of gross misconduct, disregard for party rules, and actions capable of breeding disunity within the ranks of the APC in Koko local government. The decision comes just days after another round of suspensions targeting some key party executives in the local government.
For some people just came who are newly to the APC. They just come, they call us day before yesterday with the hope of Kaura has given something to give to the people. They just announced that they have sent people away. So we are telling you, this forum, under the vice chairman, those people, we have removed them from Zambian APC because we understand they never passed 2 months when they enter APC. They wanted to bring a crisis just because they wanted to contest. This man that they are voting to has been helping people almost all the time. This Salah that has passed, he gave the people of Koko 40 million naira under my leadership. I'm the one who distributed them. He gave Mayama, Alesha, Dr. Wambang Koko is the one who is helping the party, and he is always together to us. So these people just came newly 2 months ago with the hope now they wanted to do contesting. If they want to contest, we didn't prevent them from contesting, but let them not disturb the APC people. Despite this thing, we are still behind the governor of Kebbi State, Dr. Aurangwandu, because he didn't do anything for us. We believe this thing that has happened, he is not aware.
More politics now, and this time in Lagos, where members of Shomolu community on Wednesday took to the streets in large numbers to voice their concerns over what they perceive as the imposition of a local government chairmanship candidate on them. This demonstration is a fallout from Saturday's All Progressives Congress local government primary elections in Lagos. The unrest stems from accusations against the current local government chairman, Abdul Hamid Salau, allegedly attempting to impose a candidate on the community. Joined by all the contestants for the position, they insist on standing up for their rights in order to get justice.
The whole process was highly bastardized by the State Electoral Committee, headed by Honorable Barrister Ogala. And this is not his handiwork alone. It is a connived work with Honorable James Faleke. And I want to say and I want to believe that the people of Shomolu has come out in oneness to look at it that they gave their mandate to a particular aspirant. And as you can see, this is a joint process of all the aspirants coming together under one umbrella to say no to the election results, to the perpetuated result that was given or that was written at the Acme Secretariat, where all candidates were not allowed to stay, where all agents were driven away, and at the end of the day, allocation of votes was done. And unfortunately for these people that perpetrated these acts, they never looked at it that even some of these aspirants had a significant delegates who were going to vote for them, only allocating 24 votes for a particular aspirant, and 3 to a particular aspirant, and 0 to a particular aspirant. This is very uncalled for.
And members of the All Progressives Congress, APC in Abia State, led by a former 2-term member of the House of Representatives, Sam Onuigbo, have officially launched the Renewed Hope Partners Initiative in a bid to ensure President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027. Speaking during the reception of some members of 5 different political parties and the inauguration exercise of the support group in Umuahia, Honorable Onuigbo explains that the achievements recorded by the President Tinubu administration through the Renewed Hope agenda show that experience counts in effective human and public resources management.
These new defectors or entrants into our party, we welcome them and want to urge them to work hard to ensure that there's continuity and to ensure that Mr. President is re-elected in 2027. Another part of today's special program was the inauguration of Renewed Hope Partners for Abia Central. The Renewed Hope Partners is the idea,
Welcome back. In Nasarawa State, the police have arrested a female arms runner and recovered 481 rounds of ammunition. Operatives of the State Police Command arrested the 21-year-old female suspected arms trafficker following credible intelligence. The suspect, Fatima Salisu, a native of Funtua town in Katsina, was intercepted in Azuba area of Lafia while allegedly transporting a deadly haul of ammunition through Kiana and Doma local government areas en route to delivering the consignment to criminal elements in Katsina. The State Police Commissioner, Mr. Shetima Mohammed, ordered the immediate deployment of the command's anti-kidnapping unit. The team acted also with precision, leading to the arrest of the suspect and the recovery of 400 rounds of 7.62 times 39 millimeter ammunition and 81 rounds of 7.62 millimeters NATO ammunition. The suspect is now undergoing rigorous interrogation as investigators work to dismantle the arms trafficking network and trace its possible links to armed banditry and terrorism. And now let's expand this conversation, particularly with regards to the ongoing concern of increasing insecurity in Nigeria's north and even pushing down to the north central. Joining us on this one is Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, security expert. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Uzoma, on the program.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the approach of security agents, and we gather that the Minister of Defense is now reviewing strategies with the service chiefs, but we wonder if that will be enough. And following that, the Minister of Defense has now made a U-turn, agreeing with the National Assembly on the need for a security summit, a national security summit. Will this change anything regarding, past security summits that have been convened by the National Assembly? Let's start with that.
Okay, thanks for that. To start with, for me, we've done a lot of paperwork on national security, especially in the last dispensation. The Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, came up with a very good documents on national security, counter-terrorism strategies and what have you. But one thing some of us find difficult to understand with our country, Nigeria, is we are good in doing paperwork, but in terms of the implementation, we do less, okay? In terms of the security chiefs, at the moment, because I've interacted with most of them, we seem to have the finest security chiefs who are ready to do the work. But the political will is not there. It's one thing for Mr. President to appoint them and give them this national assignment, but the peculiarities of their operating environment is another thing. Because there are things that are politically induced, that when you are in a state or in a geopolitical zone that are faced with one sort of security challenges, be it banditry, terrorism, or kidnapping, you must take cognizance of that environment, the political party alignment, the individual involved. You try to do some kind of consultations before you know how to apply the kinetics approach. And more recently, the military has also paid quality attention in terms of a civil military relationship to see how non-kinetics approach can help to reduce or minimize this insecurity. But again, therefore, you have political differences and people understanding national security from different perspectives is another thing. It's one thing for you to have national security summit. If we have this national security summit or dialogue, is it really going to end the insecurity in the nation? Must we converge before we agree that yes, indeed, we must end the terrorism? The answer for me is no. The constitutional mandate is there on the part of the military to defend our territorial integrity. The police has their responsibility for maintenance of enforcement of law and order and enhancing internal security. But the question is, are the police doing this job effectively? Are the military really up, irrespective of party affiliation, doing their job as they ought to do it? We have Secret Service, the DSS, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the NIA. How come these agencies exist? If that would be the subject or the reason for the National Security Summit to raise such critical questions, why we have the DSS, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Police Force Intelligence Bureau, and other secret service, and they are unable to protect or defend us, and we still have this margin of insecurity. If they are coming from that point of view, maybe is worth conveying. Otherwise, the Office of the National Security Advisor has a very robust white paper document that can help us to address issues of escalating insecurity.
And I wonder if we're really addressing the issues, or we're playing the ostrich, really, when you consider what you described to be peculiarities on ground, which would be the needs of the armed forces to fight insecurity. Time and again, in the last couple of days, incidents have picked holes in the Minister of Defense's position that the insurgents are more superiorly armed than our armed forces. In Marte local government, soldiers were killed while others were kidnapped and some fled the scene. So in which direction should we be directing questions as to how equipped the armed forces are, and perhaps the age-long conversation about the need for more boots on the ground?
Okay, remember, arms for the insurgents are not falling from heaven. Okay, they are manufactured somewhere and they are supplied into the Nigerian territory. So therefore, you are divided politically. You can never have security, a comprehensive security, okay? And one thing which I've been cautioning our security agencies from time to time is the fact that they should deviate from exposing the level of armament or military gear they receive from the foreign nations in terms of procurement. We know that most 80% of our military gears are imported. Then most of these same suppliers of the government, okay, also supply to these insurgents. We have facts, and we've been trading these over and over. That's why most nations who succeed on the war against insecurity, they look inward in solving their problems. We have the defense, the DICON, that also manufactures some caliber of weapons for the military and others. So they should look inward in terms of technology to advance more, because for I know that these terror groups, they receive sophisticated weapons from foreign nations in collaborations with their local sponsors, who are also heavily politically induced or connected. But one other thing we've discovered globally from research is that wherefore you have some degree of political actors who favor or champion thuggery during or after an election, the tendencies that they will be sentimental in managing issues of terrorism, you cannot rule it out. Okay, but by and large, the fact that collectively we are now coming up, if the nation is coming up, the National Assembly, the Ministry of Defense, they want to put an end to this. For me as a person, we have the necessary documents, and we really need to police our porous borders. Nigeria is not too large that the Air Force, the military, and police cannot be able to map out, narrow down the locations of these bandits and decisively deal with them. But when you trace it, you see that within a circle of a dozen of bandits, as research has proven from my own field, one or two of them has, in one way or the other, helped a certain political actors in certain area to win election through act of thuggery and what have you. So when issues of confronting them, nailing them, neutralizing them come to play, they try to delay security agents from acting. And to allude this, that's why when you have our security personnel go outside the shores of Nigeria for foreign mission, they perform absolutely well. For back home here, they seem not to have their foot on toes. It's just because of the political environment.
Speaking of which, you've referred to elements helping politicians to win election, but let's tie it to what the security agents are ascribing to being responsible for this. The Defense Headquarters has ascribed this to foreign elements. And when you hear governors speak, for instance, the governor of Benue State has been asked about what he believes to be the identities of those fomenting havoc in the north central in his state. He has talked about foreign Fulani elements. Doesn't this defy logic, that these foreign elements are able to penetrate a sovereign country that has an armed forces that is famed, to have fought wars outside the country? What are your thoughts on this?
The notion of foreign elements importation is a big slap on our national sovereignty. And I think the military owed the nation maybe apologies in that regard, including the defense minister. We are all in this nation. Yes, we hear it from different sources that at one time or the other, maybe probably about almost a decade now, that some of these foreign mercenaries found their way into Nigeria is also politically inclined or aligned. But again, when you have the strength of the military we claim we have in terms of land forces, where you have the army, air combatant forces, where you have the Air Force and the Navy, with the police and the agencies like the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense, the Immigration Service, which also has its own armed unit, that's the immigration police, and you have people penetrating our borders with ease. It calls for laughter. But let me give you a case study here in the FCT. Oftentimes, including day in, day out, including in the 3 armed zone, you see these cattle headers move in a restricted areas, unrestricted, before the very eyes of these generals and security chiefs. These headers that move freely in the central business district of Abuja, including in front of the National Assembly, they are gathering information. For the ordinary persons, they are just moving their cows. This is inside the city. They find their safety because of cattle rustling and what have you. But beneath them, these guys are the ones who are doing the mapping of the city area for the bigger terror group.
Indeed, that's another dimension that you have introduced to the security conversation. And of course, that should be investigated. But we must anchor at this point.
Absolutely.
And thank you very much, Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, for joining us on the program. Mr. Kingsley Uzoma is a security expert.
Thanks for having me.
And you have been served Lunchtime Politics, your edition of the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again next week. I am Bukola Kulka. Bye for now.